welcome to another edition of Jake and Justin in the morning. And we have a special guest, like always. It is my uncle, Mike Schnitzer. Uncle Mike, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys for having me.
No problem.
I am very excited to be here.
All right, now let me ask you the golden question. What did you have for Breck?
What did I have for? I actually planned my Breck based on the fact that I was going to be on this show, so I could talk about it.
Wow.
I know.
The preparation.
Oh, hey.
I really respect the preparation.
Thank you. So I had turkey bacon and egg with some salt and pepper, but no cheese because, as Jake knows, I'm lactose intolerant, on a multigrain bagel from the deli down the street. Awesome.
Nice.
Yes. Awesome.
Well, I had something familiar actually. I had bacon with an onion bagel.
Nice.
That was good too.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I would,
Jake,
if I was closer to Jersey, I'd get some Taylor ham on there, but
Yeah, some pork roll.
Or some pork roll, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Jake, what did you have for Breck?
I had the same thing I have for Breck every morning. I had multigrain Cheerios and a bagel and cream cheese.
I have to say, we do have a box of multigrain Cheerios in the house here, so.
Why?
Yes!
Why?
Wait, you want to know why, Justin? Because I have a 2.5-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, Jake, you know what I had for a snack this afternoon?
What?
The cookies you left in my car.
What cookies?
You left cookies in the car from driving home from Jersey.
Oh, well, you're welcome.
They were good.
All right, guys. Anyway, we got a great show for you today. A lot of things to talk about. A lot of crazy things that happened this week. Obviously, leading up to you. Hate to see it. But Jake, you have the floor. Let's get started.
All right, the first topic of the day is about a now former New England Patriots wide receiver, Julian Edelman. He was cut last week by the Patriots after he failed a physical, and then he announced his retirement from the NFL. Edelman had a very good career. This is a guy who was a quarterback in college at Kent State, was a 7th-round draft pick, and ended up having an incredible career, one of the greatest receivers in Patriots history. He's one of Tom Brady's favorite weapons in New England, 3-time Super Bowl champion, former Super Bowl MVP. He has his second in receiving yards in NFL postseason history, besides the great Jerry Rice. So, Justin, let me ask you a question, and I hope to God you answer this correctly. Is Julian Edelman a Hall of Famer?
Of course not. No, he's not a Hall of Famer. No, first things first, I don't respect any player that has had any incident of cheating whatsoever. Even if it was just one time. They always say once a cheater, always a cheater. That's the thing. Because he did the thing with the steroids. I bet you him failing his physical was him getting like a steroid test again and failing it. Knowing Julian Edelman. But I never liked Julian Edelman anyway. I never liked anybody on the Patriots. But considering he didn't even make a Pro Bowl, now, granted, that doesn't determine Hall of Famer, of course, because if that's the case, then Mitch Trubisky should be a Hall of Famer for his Pro Bowl appearance. But he did have a good career. But I just don't see him as a Hall of Famer.
Getting a Pro Bowl is like getting a Gold Glove in baseball. It means nothing.
Yeah, exactly. You guys made a Pro Bowl. There is a lot of receivers that have stats that are much better than Edelman that are not in the Hall of Fame. For example, I saw something online. Hines Ward, receiver for the Steelers, yep. great receiver. He had like 400 more catches than Edelman. He had like almost twice, like 6,000 more yards.
Yep.
And he's not in the Hall of Fame. And he had 4 Pro Bowls. Yeah, so I mean, I do like Julian Edelman. You know, I think he's a very good guy. He's done a lot in the community. He actually a couple years ago he went back to Kent State and got his degree, and he said that it was something that he promised his mom was doing. He wanted an example for his daughter. I thought that was nice, but Hall of Fame, absolutely not. Hall of very good, yes. Hall of Fame, no.
I don't think I'd ever visit the Hall of Very Good.
Same. There'd be way too many players in it.
The whole
No,
subpar.
If every game he ever played was postseason, maybe he would have had a Hall of Fame career, but you can't base it simply on his Hall of Fame stats. I mean, sorry, his postseason stats. His regular season stats just aren't there.
Yeah, and also when I think of his postseason success, I think of one game. The game against the Falcons. He had that huge game. He had that crazy catch.
Yep.
Yeah, but that was also like, it's the Falcons. That's the thing.
That is true.
They just choke. And if it was any other team that was up 28-3, Tom Brady would be down a ring. I'm just calling that right now. And personally, this might be a hot take, but I think Tom Brady made Julian Edelman look good. I don't like Tom Brady, but I'll give him credit. He can make any player look like a great player. I will give him some credit for that. So I just think that for most of Julian Edelman's career, he was being absolutely deadlifted by Tom Brady. And then like when Cam Newton went in, he's like, yeah, we're done.
All right, moving on to a baseball story, not about a player or a team, it's about an umpire. MLB's senior umpire, Joe West, now 66 years old, in his last year in the major leagues. He's very close to setting the record for most games umpire all time. He won his defamation case against former Mets All-Star catcher Paul Lo Duca. He was awarded $500,000. So now here's the backstory. So Paul Lo Duca accused Joe West of having a digger strike zone. He claimed that he was ejected 8 or 9 times by Joe West throughout his career, and when he told a story, one game, I think it was 2006 or 2007, Billy Wagner was the Mets closer, and Lo Duca was catching. So it's a tight game against the Phillies. Wagner comes into the game. Lo Duca was catching. He goes up to the mound, just probably give him the ball, like, all right, get ready. And then supposedly Wagner told Lo Duca, Joe's behind the plate, set up a couple inches inside. Lo Duca was like, what are you talking about? Joe doesn't even like me. I guess they never had a good relationship. And then Wagner goes, no, he loves me. He says he struck out the side on 10 pitches, and 8 or 9 of them were like 3 inches off the plate. Supposedly when Lo Duca goes into the locker room, he's like, what the heck is going on? He's like, well, Joe supposedly likes antique cars, so whenever he's in town, I let him drive my 1957 Chevy, and in exchange, he gives me a bigger strike zone. Joe West was furious at these accusations. He shut him down. He filed for defamation of character because he said that it destroyed his reputation, and it may keep him out of the Umpire Hall of Fame, and he absolutely deserves to be in the Umpire Hall of Fame. He's one of the greatest umpires to ever work. So he got $250,000 for the emotional distress that was caused, and $250,000 for the damaged reputation that he suffered. So Uncle Mike, what do you think about this?
It's first of all, it's the Baseball Hall of Fame he's talking about, that he thinks it'll hurt his chances. I mean, it was clear defamation. I mean, everything Lo Duca accused him of was a lie. He only was thrown out of one game, they said, not 8, and Billy Wagner didn't even pitch the game that Lo Duca was talking about. The money, I mean, who knows if that, I'm sure they'll appeal, and he claimed $250,000 for like mental hardship and $250,000 to restore his reputation. Now, I don't know if I would want to restore the reputation that he has because he's known as one of the worst umpires in baseball. And he really does have a terrible strike zone call. He called the game the other night against the Mets Phillies game, and he had 3 calls that were the worst 3 calls in baseball that night. They were like that far. I saw a tweet about it. I can't find it right now. I was going to pull it up, but it was something like combined, it was 3 feet of being wide off the plate that those 3 pitches were. It was something terrible. I mean, I don't know if he'll get in the hall, but I don't know if he deserves to be in the hall just because of longevity. He's not a great umpire. Never really was.
No, he's not.
But if we're talking about the lawsuit, yes. I mean, it was clear defamation on LaDuca's part, and West deserved to win it. Money, I can't say whether he deserves 500,000 or 10,000. I don't know. By the way, I'm really warm. So just give me 1 sec. I just have to. Yeah.
Ooh, what the heck is that?
Yeah. Sorry, I just had to. Much better.
It's all right. Yeah, you're right. He's not a very good umpire. His strike zone is very large. Pitchers complain about him all the time. I mean, the guy's been around forever. I think his first year was 1976. He's 66 years old, and he's players have problems with him all the time. Coaches have problems with him all the time. Yeah, my guess he's probably up there for the most ejections of all time because players are always complaining about his strike zone. But I mean,
when you umpire for as long as he has, you're bound to also be up there for the most ejections too.
That is true. He's had some crazy ones. His strike zone is very large. If you look at what the strike zone is supposed to be, his is definitely much larger. At least since he's been doing it for so long, everyone knows. So at least they're going into the game. The coach can tell his players, guys, it's Joe West. His zone. It's a little bit bigger. Be aggressive, or for the catcher should know. All right, maybe I can step a little bit off the corner, and if you hit your spot, you might get the call. But so I don't know if he belongs in the hall like Uncle Mike said, but when it comes to the lawsuit, LaDuca was lying. So Justin, do you have any thoughts on this?
Okay, so if you guys haven't known, I'm not necessarily the biggest baseball knower, but certainly this case, I can tell you that I actually find this case to be kind of funny. Because it's, I'll trade you a model car for a larger strike zone.
It wasn't even true either.
I know that's the thing that makes it even more stupid. I mean, at least make it sound slightly realistic. If you're going to maybe defamation of character, like at least have some type of legitimate case there.
Here's
instead of I'm gonna give him a car.
Let him drive the car like Rain Man on the in the driveway. So here's a good tweet. It said in 1990, and this is true. In 1991, Andre Dawson was called out looking by Cowboy Joe West and then ejected for arguing the call. He was fined $500 by the National League and paid it via check with the memo line filled out, donation for the blind. So yeah, he's always, that's 91, and we're in, this is what, I can't do math.
30 years
30 years later, and he's still just as bad. How he's survived this long, I don't know, but
he is better than Angel Hernandez. I will say that. Angel Hernandez is the worst umpire of all time.
Yeah.
He did give the Mets a no-hitter, but otherwise he is a atrocious umpire.
Well, if there was I was at that game, by the way, but if there was a replay at that point, the Mets would be the only team without a no-hitter right now.
That's right.
Because that ball was there.
Yeah, you get the truck shop in the air.
Yep.
Anyway, moving on, going back to basketball. It's a bit of a sad story. Brooklyn Nets power forward LaMarcus Aldridge abruptly announced retirement because of an irregular heart condition. Aldridge had an incredible career. He was a first-round pick by the Portland Trailblazers. He's a 7-time All-Star. He played for 15 seasons, seven-time All-Star. He had only played 5 games with the Nets. The Spurs had bought him out, and the Brooklyn Nets, like they did to basically every single former All-Star that's available in the NBA, they signed him. He only played 5 games, but he decided to call it a career abruptly because of a irregular heartbeat. He's got a heart condition. He posted a very nice post on social media. A lot of NBA players, former NBA players, some of his former teammates, tweeted him, wish you the best, prayers up for him. The GM of the Nets tweeted something nice. So Justin, what are your thoughts on this?
Honestly, I mean, he has had a very good career. At the end of his career, his career stats for his career was at 19.4 points per game, 8.2 rebounds per game. Those are some pretty good statistics there, in my opinion. He has had a great career, especially on Portland and San Antonio, because let's face it, on Brooklyn, he probably played for a week. If that, so we can't really judge upon that. But I also have to say, good for him. He knew when to say when. He could, within a regular heartbeat, he could have a serious heart attack. So I'm glad that he knew when to stop. So it's like, congratulations to him for his retirement, and I'm really glad that he made this decision, because because this shows that some players know when to put their ego aside. And he could have kept his ego there and said, "Oh, I'm going to go with Brooklyn. I'm going to win my first ring," because he doesn't have a ring. If you guys don't know that, he hasn't won an NBA championship. But you say, no, I'll stay with Brooklyn. I'll win the national championship with them. Instead, he says, "I'm going to retire because if I don't, it could potentially lead to something fatal." So good for him, and I wish him the best of luck.
Yeah, there's a meme that says, it's like pointing to what he said. Insert that meme. I definitely agree with that. It was not an easy decision for him. He didn't want to retire in the middle of the season where he had a chance to get his first ring and possibly continue his career for maybe a couple more seasons, because the guy who possibly could have gotten to the. I can't imagine he'll get into the hole now, but I doubt he will, and I don't think he should. But the guy who could have gotten in the Hall of Fame if he continued, the guy who's at least 7 All-Star appearances, longevity, and if he gets himself a ring. But good for him for making the right decision for him and his family, and hopefully if he has to have any procedures, they go well, and he can live and let die.
Hey, that's a poor choice of words right there. Live and let die.
Live and let die. Bam, bam.
Yeah. Poor choice of words there. I mean, look, I don't.
You know what I meant.
I know, Jake. I don't follow basketball really, but just on the human aspect of this, Justin, you're 100% right. I mean, who knows how many scares he had that he didn't even know about? You don't know how close he has come over the length of his career to a potentially fatal or near fatal attack. So yeah, I mean, you gotta put your health and your family in front of. I'm sure he has plenty of money, so that's not going to be an issue. And you just got to do. You got to know, and you're right about the. I'm sure you're right about the Hall of Fame. It's like the Don Mattingly thing. Mattingly was great for X amount of time, but he wasn't great for a long enough amount of time. And you can't judge it just based on those number of years. You have to look at longevity and everything too. So
Yeah, there's been a few players like you said, Don Mattingly. Obviously, this isn't a great comparison when it comes to Magic Johnson, because Magic Johnson was already a first ballot Hall of Famer. But he had age. He was still playing. He was older, but he was still a great player. He had to retire. Abruptly, but it's a shame. But it's what's best for him.
Yep.
All right. Moving on, another NBA story. Denver Nuggets All-Star point guard Jamal Murray tore his ACL. He is out for the season. That is a huge blow for the Denver Nuggets. Just let me ask you this: can the Denver Nuggets, who right now, I believe, are fourth in the Western Conference, can they make a playoff run without Jamal Murray?
I think they could, but it's going to be pretty difficult. I'll tell you that. Losing somebody with the skill of Jamal Murray is no small loss. Yes, you still have Jokic, you still have Michael Porter Jr., you still have Aaron Gordon, you still have all those good players that can definitely carry the load. But when the playoffs are here, and you have players like Donovan Mitchell and because you have Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert standing in your way. You have Devin Booker, Chris Paul standing in your way. These are all some very strong players, and having Jamal Murray on your team is going to be a really big addition. Look what Jamal Murray did in the playoffs last year. He took the bubble by storm. He really did. They were down 3-1 against the Clippers. They were down 3-1 against the Jazz. Well, and he's getting 50, 60 points a game. He was just absolutely unstoppable. So I definitely think that losing him is a big deal. However, they could potentially recover if players like Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon really step up more to fill Jamal Murray's shoes here.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think they can make a playoff run. Well, first of all, if the playoffs start today, they'll be playing the Los Angeles Lakers in the playoffs in the first round. With the Lakers banged up, I would probably take Denver in 6 or 7. But if the Lakers have a healthy LeBron and AD, which I think they absolutely will, I don't think they stand a chance in the first round. And even let's say the Lakers get their guys back and they move up a little bit and they end up playing. They play somebody else. I think Utah's definitely better than them. Phoenix is definitely better than them. The Clippers are definitely better than them. A healthy Lakers team is definitely better than them. And even if they end up playing some like Portland or Dallas, Dallas is playing really well with Luka and Porzingis. Give the Clippers a run for their money. You had that in game 2 if Porzingis didn't get ejected, which he shouldn't have been. The Mavericks could have won that series. And Portland, Game is just he's unstoppable in the playoffs. He's got 2 long deep 3 series clinchers in his career. So I think at the very best they squeak out of the first round. All right. Moving on. Let's talk about the NBA MVP race. Right now.
I'm so excited for this.
I know you are.
I've been thinking about this all day.
All right. Denver Nuggets star center Nikola Jokic right now is at the top of the MVP ladder. Justin, do you think he should be, or should it be somebody else?
First things first, here's what I want to talk about. I've been looking into Jokic some more. What a story he's had. Let me tell you.
Yes, he has.
He was drafted as a second-round pick over a Taco Bell commercial. A Taco Bell commercial literally went over his.
I saw that.
Literally went over his pick. I actually saw something today. He originally didn't like basketball. He originally wanted to go into horse riding, and he got addicted to Coca-Cola. I know that sounds wrong, but he actually got addicted to Coca-Cola, and he got so, I guess I want to say maybe overweight from drinking all that sugary soda that he couldn't even do a push-up at one point. But he got taller, he got thinner, he got stronger. And I think he definitely deserves MVP. I mean, he is. I mean, I know that Jamal Murray's on the team, but he is one of the reasons why the Nuggets even have a chance on the playoffs. He's a great blocker. He's a great inside shooter, and on top of that, he could shoot the three like it's nothing. He's a great 3-point shooter for a center. I would be very happy to see him as the MVP this year, especially over players like Giannis and Joel Embiid, who, in my opinion, don't even deserve it.
Yeah, he's my MVP of the league right now. I think it's going to come down to him, James Harden, and Joel Embiid. Embiid has had a great year. I don't think he'll win. I do not agree. I agree. I don't think he should win, but those are probably the three finalists. He's averaging like 27 points a game, I think 11 rebounds, like 8 or 9 assists. He's been an absolute stud. Yeah, and like you said, like he's a crazy story. He when he was younger, he weighed 300 pounds when he was younger. He was considered overweight. Like I said, he couldn't even do a push-up. He was dressed over a Taco Bell commercial, which out of all commercials, a Taco Bell commercial, that's low.
Hey, does it mean he's up that much to where you had to put him over a Taco Bell commercial?
You guys will never be sponsored by Taco Bell after this.
No, we will not. No, we will not.
Good.
And nor do we want to be.
Good. I personally, I'd like to be sponsored by I'd like to be sponsored by the NBA. Obviously, I'd like to be the official podcast of the NBA. I'd also like to be sponsored by like McDonald's or Arby's.
McDonald's? I think Arby's is better.
I mean, they do in fact have the meats. They have the meats. We have the commentary. I think it's a perfect fit.
Yes, it is. But in all seriousness, and he was like, it wasn't like he was like the 35th pick. I think he was like the 44th pick. He was like a late second round pick. He was like 45th out of 60, and he's one of the greatest 3-point shooting big men we've ever seen. He's just dominant. He's a top 10 player in the NBA, if not top 5 in my opinion. He's an absolute beast, and if the Denver Nuggets do have a shot to get to, like I said, the Western Conference Finals, it's gonna be through him with Jamal Murray out. All right. All right.
I mean, sorry, real quick. I mean, I guess you can equate it in a way to Piazza in baseball. He was a last round pick as a favorite Tommy Lasorda, and look at his career. Look what he did.
It's right.
And look how many first round picks in every sport just don't pan out. Sometimes the scouts are wrong. So good for him.
I mean, DeMarcus Russell, he was drafted number 1 overall. The Rays gave him $61 million out like in 3 years. All right, now this is a topic that this one just confuses me, Justin. Why do the Minnesota Timberwolves suck so bad every single year?
Yeah, I put this one on the topic list. JP, feedback here. Do you guys hear yourself?
Yeah.
All right, nice. Anyway, yeah, I put this on the topic list because I'm wondering as well. They are the worst team in the league, but if you look at their roster, they kind of shouldn't be, because you have Karl Anthony Towns, you have Ricky Rubio, you have D'Angelo Russell, you have some players that you cannot that you cannot sleep on. Really, they are some great players. I'm not sure if it's a coaching issue. I'm not sure if it's just a team chemistry issue in general. But they should be. But on paper, they should be making the play-ins at least. Not be last in the league and not be trash racing there. Oh, and I forgot to mention they also have Anthony Edwards. How did I forget about Anthony Edwards, who's looking like a real good pick for the number one to be top in he was number 1 draft pick. I know that personally. Looking at performance, I personally think LaMelo should have been number 1, but Anthony Edwards is definitely deserving of that top 3 draft pick area. So I don't know why they're screwing up, to be honest with you. I think they just need a new coach. They'll probably be stupid enough to get like Brett Brown at this point from the old 76ers coach. All I'm wondering is, are they trying to pull like a 76ers to where they're doing like a process? Trust the process. We're gonna be waiting about another 16 years for them to do something. Because I'm not sure where the disconnect is between a roster that looks good on paper and an organization that just looks like it's crumbling at the seams. And by the way, if you think A-Rod being the owner is going to do anything, I don't think so. But that's another thing. A-Rod, of all the teams you could have bought, the Timberwolves? Are we serious? You chose the Timberwolves. But that's all I have to say on this, though.
Sorry, Jake, because I know you're probably about to speak here, but I think that was him buying the Timberwolves is probably it's like a rebound over losing out on the Mets. He just had to do something.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, I don't really think he cares about how the Timberwolves do. He just wants the attention. He wants to feed his ego. I really don't think it's going to help. I mean, to be fair, like, first of all, he's only buying half of it. And, the owner now of the Timberwolves, Glenn Taylor, is horrendous. Flip Saunders, he actually did a very good job along the team. Glenn Taylor is awful. He is a complete train wreck. And I really don't think A-Rod and with this other billionaire, whoever the heck this guy is going to help. I really think the main issue is the coaching. I mean, look at the coaches that they've had. Tom Thibodeau just wasn't a fit there. The grit and grind.
Yeah, but he was a good coach. Tibbs was a great coach.
Yeah, it was not him. Jimmy Butler, when he was on the team, he came out and said, Andrew Wiggins, Karl Town, you guys got to step up. It wasn't a fit. Ryan Solder, which is Flip Saunders' son. If he wasn't Flip Saunders' son, he might be in an office, as an accountant or something, in my opinion. And he put it this way, he was 7-24 here. They fired him. They hired Chris Finch, the assistant coach from the Raptors. Since then, they are 7-18. So he's done just as bad. I think they need to completely start over. If your name is not Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, or D'Angelo Russell, you next year you should not be a part of his organization. Get rid of the coach, get rid of everybody else, just start over. All right, they have the worst record of all time and of any team in the 4 major American sports. This team has been a train wreck organization. Think of the quality players they've had: Kevin Garnett, Towns. That's it. That's all I can think of. Just start over. Enough is enough. This team's a train wreck. They are a laughing stock of American sports. Enough. Start over.
Also, I have a theory about A-Rod. I have a theory about A-Rod buying the Timberwolves. I bet you it was just one of those emotional purchases after he broke up with J-Lo.
Justin, you and I, because I was about to say it, so you and I are in sync.
Exactly. It was one of those. Yep. It was one of those purchases where it's I'm so sad. I'm just gonna splurge, but he splurged on the wrong team. You hate to see it. Anyway, let's move on to our weekly segment.
You hate to see it.
All right, so Mr. Schnitzer, here's what we do. We got some clips to show you. You're gonna rate them 1 out of 10. 1 being you don't hate to see it. 10, you really hate to see it. If somebody gets hit in the groin, you could go over 10. Sounds good?
Oh yeah.
All right, let's get started. Jake, you got stuff first?
Yes, sir. Here we go. All right, let's share my screen. Okay. Wait, let's start with this. Okay. So those of you, I'm sure you guys are well aware that Aaron Rodgers, star quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, is hosting Jeopardy. He's doing it for a couple of weeks. He actually said that he wants to do it permanently. He says he can do both football and Jeopardy. I don't know about that. We'll see. But so this So, Jeopardy contestants have been famous in recent years not knowing jack about sports. And that continued as I'm gonna, you know what? Let's just roll a clip.
I don't have audio.
All right, I apologize if you guys couldn't hear. It might be my headphones, but what he said, if these Midwesterners won 5 trophies, the Green Bay Packers, the team that Aaron Rodgers plays for, he's the host, and they didn't even know. Oh, come on, how much do you hate to see it?
I mean, it pains me when it pains me to see anyone not know sports, but yeah, I'm gonna rate this. This is pretty low though. I'll give it a 3 on the pain scale because you get plenty of. I mean, I couldn't answer 90% of the questions on Jeopardy, so and knowing my mom and your Nana and how she is with sports questions, yeah, I don't want to be too harsh on them.
All right, Justin, what about you, Justin?
You know, I bet you this was the only question to where he didn't have to like look at the card to know the answer. But you know what? I'm gonna give this a 5 because although it was funny, I actually thought one day, like, imagine if this happens, and it did. But I actually thought it was funnier when the guy on Final Jeopardy asked him who wanted to kick that field goal.
That was great.
5 out of 10. I moderately hate to see it.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7. I mean, the guy, everyone knows he plays for the Packers. They should know that. I know, maybe the clue was a little vague, but like the host has played for the Packers for over a decade. You might as well just take a shot. It was only worth 400 points. It's not a lot in Jeopardy. Oh, by the way, Uncle Mike, your dad and my grandpa is probably shaking his head right now at that. He would definitely know.
Your Nana called me during the first episode he was on to ask me who it was. So
so this one in the Marlins Braves game. So the Miami Marlins had Jesus Aguilar playing first base, and we had this ground ball hit towards him, and it was a little bit out of his reach. So what he decides to do is throw his glove at it. He thought that was gonna work. He chucks his glove at it. Doesn't even and completely misses. Uncle Mike, how much do you hate to see that?
that's brutal. First of all, it's against the rule. You can't do it.
Yeah,
You have the glove has to be attached to your body. It's terrible. It to me it's a 10 because I play first base, and it's just painful that someone in Major League Baseball would do that. It's ridiculous.
All right, Justin, what do you think about it?
Pain. 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 10 as well. Like my uncle, I was a first baseman for many years when I played Little League, and you can't do that. Yeah, you can't do that. I think it's supposed to be like a 2 or 3 base penalty. I'm pretty sure it's a 3 base penalty. You cannot do that. That is against the rules. This guy's a professional baseball player. He should know that. 10 out of 10. That was a joke. And my last clip before we turn it over to Justin is the Cubs were playing the Brewers. Right, the Cubs are off to a rough start. They are last in basically every offensive category. They are hitting 163 as a team. They're averaging 2.7 runs per game, 4.9 hits per game. Unfortunately, their defense hasn't been much better. Now, Javier Baez is supposed to be their star player, their shortstop. So this is it. So what happened? All right. So the Brewers player hits a simple ground ball, can of corn, on the back end. Cousin, oh no, he goes in all the way into the stands. What on earth was that? Uncle Mike, how much do you hate to see that?
I mean, as for the field, I hate the Cubs. I mean, Met fan, so it doesn't necessarily pain me to see Javi Baez do it. But I also have played shortstop and I still play third base. So, I could feel for the guy. I don't know if you guys remember years ago, I forgot who the shortstop was, but someone hit Keith Olbermann's mom with a throw from short, which is kind of funny. So, I mean, I would give this a solid 7.
Justin, what do you think?
Well, I'd say he should probably try out for the NFL with that crossbody into the stand. Clearly, he doesn't know. Clearly, he doesn't really know his true arm strength. I'm gonna give it an 8.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7 as well. Like, what was that for? Like, that wasn't even close. I was like 50 feet over the first baseman's head. If there was no screen there, it would have been like 5 rows up into the stands. Oh, by the way, I think the Chicago Bears should sign him. I mean, he
Can't
won't
be worse.
He won't be any better than every other quarterback they've ever had. they might as well. And you see by Javier Baez
on that team. What do you mean?
Yeah, I mean
Greatest quarterback of all time.
when you're relying on Nick Foles, then you have problems. So.
Yeah, but like 2-0 against Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, Nick Foles.
and look at Baez's face. It's like, oh God, I'm gonna be on. You hate to see it on Jake and Justin in the morning. Oh no. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing. Justin, the floor is yours.
Oh yeah, let's do this. Wait, can you please enable screen sharing? Wait, let me first get to my clip first. All right, we're gonna start off in the here area because let's see, where was the game? I think this was it. Okay, this is what I first want to show you guys. So this was the Hawks. Can you guys see this?
Yep.
Yeah.
This was last Friday's Hawks Bulls game. And as you can see, the Hawks beat the Bulls by 12. But this is what I really want to highlight. Zach LaVine dropped 50 points. Vucevic dropped a 25-point double-double. They collectively had 75 of the points. At this point, they gotta win. Zach LaVine's probably asking himself, how much more do I have to carry? Seriously. This is all he does, and he ends up not getting any value for it. I mean, think about it this way. Him and Vucevic combined have over half of the team's points. Literally, how much do you hate to see it?
I'm gonna go with a 10. I'm not sure if you guys watched the Last Dance documentary. At the very end, it showed after 1998 when they broke up a team and showed Michael Jordan retired. They traded Scottie Pippen, and they released Dennis Rodman. They traded Steve Kerr, and then it goes. They began to rebuild. 20 plus years later, they're still rebuilding. I mean, a guy puts up 50, and they have 2 players combined for 75 points, and you still lose to an Atlanta sports team? Are you kidding me? 10 out of 10. I mean, honestly, I don't think that Billy Donovan is the answer. I think he's going to be out of a job shortly, just like his stint with the Thunder only lasted 3 years. 10 out of 10. Zach LaVine should request a trade.
No, I will score this, even though I don't really watch basketball, but it's just painful. And no NBA team should lose when their top player scores 50 or more points. That's it.
That's
So yeah, I was at Jordan's first game back when he against the Knicks when he dropped 50 on them. So
oh wow.
yeah. Just luck. I mean luck that I was there, not luck for Jordan, obviously. So I'll give this a 10 as well because it's just it's horrible. I mean, the two of them, it's actually like 75% of their points, or yeah, 75% of their points out of two players, and that's just terrible.
Uncle Mike, let me ask you, what were you doing at a basketball game?
I'll go watch any sport, and I do like college basketball. I just don't have time to, like, I watch my baseball, I watch my football, I watch my hockey, and I just don't have time to add a fourth sport in there. I can't do
All
it.
right. Wow. All right. Anyway, moving on.
I'm gonna give this a 10. Zach LaVine's got to be the most humble guy of all time. He should have requested a trade a long time ago. That's all I.
By the way, is he totally random question? But is he? I don't think he can be based on the way he spells his name, but he's not Jewish, right? Because that would be really impressive to be. Because it just sounds. It sounds Jewish.
I have no idea. Maybe I'll look it up later. But first things first. You know why they're losing? Daniel Tice. Next clip. All right, here we go. So let me first deal with an ad here. A nice 6-second truth ad. So picture this. Well, never mind. Picture the ad here. There we go. All right, give me a second. I could use an air filter. I could use a nice purified air.
I wish I saw this ad before I bought my air filter.
Yeah. All right, so where is it? Where is he going to take the shot? So imagine so Tristan Thompson, Khloe Kardashian's in the stand, his girlfriend. She's watching this. Yeah. There we go. Nice one. That's a nice show of skill. I call that one everything but net.
Can you replay? Hold on. Can you replay that? I need to see that again.
I will not only replay that, I will replay that in 0.5 speed.
Awesome.
Look at his shooting form. She's like doing a squat. He's like trying to squat. And then he just launches.
Oh my God.
How much?
I mean, when they say nothing but net, that was nothing but net, but that's awful. I think I could shoot better than that, and I'm probably the worst basketball player of all time.
I'm giving that a 10 out of 10. Professional basketball, he airballs a free throw. And what was that free throw shooting form? He looked like he was sitting on the toilet.
That's like the kid in, have you seen Hoosiers?
It's been years.
Yeah, but the little kid, the little guy who shoots underhand in his first in the it wasn't the championship game, it was the game right before that, and he had to shoot 2 foul throws, and his first one was like didn't even hit net. It didn't even reach. That's what it reminds me of. I mean, it's just embarrassing. That's got to be a 10.
I'm giving this a 9. Because it just happened so much here. What's up with players airballing free throws this year? Seriously,
I have no idea.
Just going crazy. Next clip, moving on. This, I hate to see it. I absolutely hate to see it.
Oh no!
Ready for this? So it's not gruesome, but I like Jimmy Butler. I found him to be an underrated player. He just falls, lands on the ankle wrong. That looks like a bad injury. Let's see the replay. Yeah, he's grabbing those Nikes pretty well. I mean, I want to see where he fell, honestly. Like where the fall was. It looks like he rolled on it almost. And, as somebody who has like a rolling ankle issue, I can feel this pain a lot. So how much do you guys hate to see it?
I mean, I'll leave this one to Jake. I'm gonna I'll defer to my nephew here.
I'm gonna go with an 8. Jimmy Butler is a very underrated player. For quite a few years, people had said, "Oh, he was toxic. He's a bad teammate." He put that all to bed since he came to the Heat. He has taken his game to a completely new level. Well, might be the most underrated superstar in the league. This is what happens when you have a extremely short. We have the shortest offseason in NBA history. You have a shortened regular season, and you're trying to zip through a season just so you stay on target. For next year. With the COVID, you got more and more stars are getting hurt, from LeBron James, which for me isn't a total loss because I can't stand him. But there's him, Anthony Davis, Jamal Murray, now Jimmy Butler. Donovan Mitchell just twists his ankle today. We're still waiting the results on that. It's really a shame. So I'll give it a 7. Not only it's not a 10 because I just don't like the Miami Heat.
I'm gonna give it a 10. I like Jimmy Butler. I like the Heat. My mother and I we watched the Heat. When I was home, we watched the Heat every night. Along with the Rockets. Don't ask why those two teams, but it was nice to watch. Jimmy Butler plays. He's a great player, and it just really stings to see him get hurt. Next clip.
Dustin's all about the basketball cliff.
Oh, I love
Yes,
basketball.
sir.
I love basketball. Okay, here we go. This is another time of a player getting a technical for just zero reason. Andre Drummond. So let's watch the play here. So Andre Drummond currently has the ball right now. He clearly charges. He throws the ball over to the ref and gets teed up. And it's not like he chucked it either. Like here's the thing. He did like a light throw and got technical for it. I just find that to be absolutely unfair, unacceptable, unimpressive, and uninspiring, as I like to say. How much do you hate to see it?
I hate all refs, umpires, whatever. They all just, so many of them have just these egos that they have to they just feel they need to grandstand and take matters into their own hand, and they it sucks for him. I mean, it's a shame. I don't think it's 10 worthy on my part. I'll give it an 8, but you just see this like in baseball. You see umpires throw people out for the smallest infractions, and that, you're right. He didn't do anything other than just throw the ball. I mean, it was frustration. It wasn't anger. It's awful. Sorry, it's just bad.
You're 100% right, Uncle Mike. I give it a 10. The NBA refs have been so soft, have been incredibly soft this year. I don't know what is going on. That over the last few years, the referees in all sports have just been cursed. In the NFL, they have been atrocious. The MLB umpire just getting worse and worse and worse. The strike zone is just non-existent now. Umpires are making up their own strike zone. And then the NHL referees are much better now. But this Tim Peelinson that comes out, and now the NBA, and then the NBA refs gotta be the softest people I've ever seen this year. I mean, the guy literally just did a soft toss to the referee. To the referee, a little bit of frustration, but he's playing basketball in the National Basketball Association. It's an emotional game out there. He's bound to get a little frustrated. If he chucked it, on accident, and it hit the referee in the face, and fractured his nose, all right, then he gave him a tackle. But if he like they then a soft bounce pad that is not a technical. Enough is enough. Adam Silver needs to do something with these refs. He's got to get them sensitivity training or something. They are way too soft. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm giving this a 10. Terrible. All right, now Mr. Schnitzer, I'm assuming you've seen a lot of flopping in your while watching sports.
A lot of what?
A lot of flopping, like a lot of
Oh yeah, of
sorry,
course.
So
Yeah.
here's the thing. So you thought that. So everybody, you guys probably thought that Kyle Lowry deserved the Oscar, or Joaquin Phoenix deserved the Oscar, or maybe it was the Nas Antetokounmpo for his flop, but it really is Joel Embiid. Let's watch this in slow-mo here. Let me get to it, because Steven Adams. So basically, so we watched this replay of Brandon Ingram making a shot. That was a nice shot, actually. Wow. But anyway, you're gonna look right over here. So as you can see, Steven Adams is kind of getting like tangled up with Joel Embiid, and Joel Embiid just like jumps and like falls for the foul. Let's see if we can get a close up of it. Oh yeah, here we go. Whoa! He just like falls. He's like he's a 7-footer. Like you do not fall that easily. How much you hate to see it?
So am I rating the flop itself, or am I rating the fact that he did flop? Because the flop itself is a 1.
I mean, it's kind of both. It's kind of like rating like the. It's kind of rating like the fact that he did flop that poorly.
I mean, if you ever watch soccer, that all they do is flop. But I mean, that was horrible acting. I give the act and the flop itself a 1, because he'd get a Razzie instead of an Oscar for that. But the fact that he did that and thought, I mean, I assume there was no call on that, I hope. But knowing these NBA refs, you don't know.
No, there was a call on that. There was a call on that. He got fouled for it.
That's brutal.
Steven Adams got fouled for it. It's like, I mean, seriously, this the MVP. This the MVP. The guy that's falling. That's falling over the slightest touch. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to score it because the flop itself is terrible, but the fact that it's awful. It's a 10. It's a 10 for how bad it is. The flop itself is a 1 for how bad it is too. So
I see a 10 out of 10. Joel Embiid is the biggest drama queen in NBA history. Steven Adams' hand is like resting on his back, and he just falls over. Like, come on, Joel Embiid. You think you're the MVP, and you're doing freaking like backstrokes on the basketball court? Give me a break. Get out of my NBA court. 10 out of 10.
come on, the guy has a man bun. He couldn't have possibly done that to him.
That's a good point.
That is a very fair point. I'll give it about a 7 out of 10. I thought the funniest flop was Kyle Lowry's, where he tried to like put on like a fake cry, because even though like he barely got touched. That one was funny. Anyway, that concludes it for You Hate to See It. Now we move on to Jake and Justin's athlete of the week. So Jake, who is your athlete of the week?
Mine is none other than Hideki Matsuyama. Last week he won the 2021 Masters. He became the first Japanese golfer to ever win a major. There has been very unfortunately there's been a lot of prejudice incidents going on with targeting certain groups. Not necessarily Japanese, but Asian. It's been a shame. It's really nice to see Hideki Matsuyama win the Masters, first Japanese golfer to ever win a major, which I can't believe. There hasn't been a ton of Japanese golfers on tour that have made a huge impact, but the first one to win a major, I think that was great. I think it'll hopefully open the floodgates to Japanese golfers moving forward. Tiger Woods put out a very nice message. I saw pictures like it was like 10 years ago. It was like he got like he had the best score of any amateur from that year, and now 10 years later, he has the best score of any player in the Masters this year. Congratulations to Hideki Matsuyama, first Japanese golfer that ever won a major.
Yeah, congratulations. Take your green jacket. That's what it is, right? To get the green jacket in the Masters. All right, so my athlete of the week on the topic.
Here's the secret. Yeah, I'm excited.
Because as a matter of fact, it's not even an athlete at all. My athlete of the week is going to none other than, and I'll explain my motive for this in a second. It is going to none other, and where's my thing? Oh, here it is. I don't know why this is showing up, but wait, what the heck? Okay, here we go. So let me X this out. If you guys have never seen the Hornets announcers, there are the play-by-play is a man named Eric Collins, and the color caster is Del Curry, Steph Curry's father. Steph Curry's father, actually. But the thing that I like about these casters is how, even though it's because obviously they're the Hornets casters, but they really prove that they are fans of this team. Just listen. Here's what they do. They just go nuts over everything. I mean, that was a great dunk. But like, even if it's as simple as like a three. Well, let's see here. Let's see if I can find Eric Collins. Oh, Terry, that's what I got to show. This guy makes 2 free throws. Terry Rozier, and let's see where it happens. I think. Let me try to find out. I remember it was here somewhere. Oh man. Anyway, though, like that's just a taste of him just like going crazy over everything. Like what? I mean, these are some good plays, but there'll be times where they'll make a layup and then like he'll just go absolutely nuts. But you like to see these announcers that really get into it and really show their stuff as these great casters, especially for the Hornets. So I respect them. But anyway, that is going to conclude our show. So Jake, you lead us out.
All right, thank you so much to everyone for listening. I apologize for the technical difficulties. We will fix that in the live recording. Thank you all for watching. Uncle Mike, thank you for being such a great guest on our show.
Thank you for having me on here, guys. It was a lot of fun.
It was great to have you.
I'll study up on my NBA for next time.
It's all right. Tell my aunt I said wish her a happy birthday. Say hi to my cousin, my little cousin, and everyone else. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
Peace out.